It is accepted that journalists have the power to influence how communities and policymakers perceive the climate change crisis and how to tackle it. The climate reporting training therefore offered to journalists is aligned with Namibia's national climate change policy, which calls for the active participation of media in informing and educating the public about the causes, impacts and interventions. This, in return, will ensure that communities are empowered on how to adapt and mitigate the effects of climate change.
This necessitates us as the ministry to convene this workshop so that we can empower, capacitate our local media and journalists so that they can really go and disseminate this information to the public at large. So, as I said already, we have in place, the ministry has in place the National Policy on Climate Change that has a guiding principle to make sure that communication are reaching the public at large.
Journalists are not really placing a deeper hand in reporting climate change. That is simply because it's a new field and a number of journalists in Namibia are not well trained on how best to effectively or accurately report on climate change issues. But there are very few journalists who are trying, but there is still a room for improvement, and that can only happen if they are well trained on the issue of climate change.
Despite efforts made in recognizing media as a key stakeholder in promoting public awareness, facilitating access to information, and encouraging active participation in climate change initiatives, Shiweda says more still needs to be done from both the sides of the media and the organizations facilitating climate change projects.
Organizations, especially those that are in environment, climate changes, need to mobilize resources and for training journalists on climate change, and as well as in environmental issues in general. It is the only way we can really take the story of climate change to a greater or wider public.
Journalists have been urged to familiarize themselves with the national determined contributions and the national climate change policies to better their reporting. July Nafuka, NBC News, Bantuk.